is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, class swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Football season just kicked off. Okay, so we got through the first round, first week. Well, I guess we got one more today, but it caught maybe like half a game. So I was busy this weekend. Only caught half, but not bad, not bad. But hope you guys are doing well. Last week was the biggest sell off in like I think it was a year and a half. So we'll see if we get some kind of rebound in the markets with that. And then, of course, we got some CPI. We got PPI coming out this week, too. And the market hasn't disappointed us lately in a wild ride. So we'll see if that continues as well. But we got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Bill. Cheryl, give me the two stocks that you wanted me to look at because I think there was two in Slack. I know Baba was one. I can't remember what the other was, but we'll definitely take a look at those. Good morning. We got Chris in the house, Corey, Diane, Frank, Georgie is in the house. Good morning to Greg, Jennifer, Joe, JT, Justin. We got Lauren, Lucian, Marius, Martina, Mike. As the list goes on and on. We got Rick. Good morning to you. We got Shane, Tim, all my people out in YouTube land. Good morning to all you guys as well. We got David. We got Clarice. And if you guys are just sitting in the background of YouTube, just lurking, it's okay. I still love you. Just hit that like and subscribe button. Oh yeah, Adobe was the other one. Okay. I couldn't remember. I saw the pop-up come on my phone. I was like, all right, I'll try to remember. That didn't work out so well. But we'll take a look at those. Otherwise, we got SPY. Question is it a dead cat bounce or not? If you remember Friday morning show, we did have some levels down here. We did say that we think the SPY was probably looking for the gap fill. So we did fill that gap. We did get to kind of that next level. The close of it, that was weak. We got no bounce really toward the end of the day. I do have my imaginary line here. We didn't quite hit that. We're still holding. And then we are bouncing up. So right now it is a gap and go. Still inside day. Still a lot of pressure to the bear side. And we'll see if the markets want to hold up at all, or if we just open the gates and start dropping again. But right now we do have the next resistance somewhere around 548.31. I think a big tell would be if we could hold the support 542.80. And then obviously we got Friday's VPOC all the way down at 441.27. So a couple levels of support. I don't know if the bulls are going to come rampaging back in after kind of the weakness that was last week. Let's actually go back, throw that on a weekly chart. Since we have a brand new week. Oh, we're holding the 20 EMA on a weekly. We do have a little bit of a 3-bar reversal. We could even include that candle in there too. Clear double top on a weekly chart as well. So if this is the wave 5, this was ABC, and we're just starting wave 1. The play out from here could get a little ugly, but we're not there yet. Let's see what the Qs look like on a weekly. Qs on a weekly did not even make a double. It's double top, but with actually a lower high. So still a little bit more weakness in the Qs. Let's see where we fare on the daily chart. Daily chart. We got the 200 to maybe hold us up. I guess that would be our next spot. 440.56 is going to be a key major level. So otherwise, we're still above that. I think we've gone a little bit past the 618 on the Qs. Let's see where that is. No, we're still there. We're still there. 447.35. And then we got VPOC from Friday on the Qs sitting at 449.64. So that's the level I'll look to hold. Then we'll see if we can hold this 447.35. If we close below it, we got to hope that's 200 can save us. But otherwise, we're probably looking for at least 436.18. And I think we're kind of at the weak spot at that point and probably looking for a full-on retest. So kind of an important day, kind of an important week for the rest of the market. Georgia says the Bears. No, don't say that. Don't say that. No, even when the Bears play now, they're not allowed to say it, just in case the market hears it. PLTR. Yes, Palantir looks good. I got some volume. I think it was it on the weekly? But we have some ranges up to like $35. It wasn't on the weekly. Uh they did get word they're going to be added to the S&P, so they were kind of looking for that news for a while. They've been a contender to make that list, and I think Friday after the market closed, they got a nice little gap up on that. I have about $35 as the next level, 34.11, and then maybe we get into like this, maybe even like $36, somewhere in that range. Question is, does that happen today? Lately, at least, when a company has been told they're going to be added to the S&P, it's actually sold off. I think we don't we have the Apple conference today too. Speaking of sell-offs, Mm-mm-mm. There's a good gap though. It's a good gap. We've been in this range before. I think this one probably pulls back a little bit. 32.49. We'll see if that holds first. I don't know, but I don't think out of the gate this thing's gonna open and just rampage. I meant footballs. Uh yeah. Yeah, football. Yeah, if you're only referring to football, that's fine. But it could be contagious. That's what I'm saying. Really good gap though for Palantir. I think we got to put this one much higher on the list. We do have some range to the top, but the problem is we've been held here a few times. And if it's a buy the rumor, sell the news, and this is all the buy the rumor, and now we got the news. So we'll see if we give this some back. I imagine at least we get some kind of a pullback. And I think 32.49 will be the tell. If we break through that, I think we're looking at like 31.59. If we could hang out above it, we have a good shot of maybe hitting the 34 today. Gives us a dollar and change higher. But we'll get that one up on the list. CRH. This one I have no idea what this is. CRH. Are they getting bought out? Polish. Oh, no, Polish lime business. Building Materials Group. CHR. Yeah, I have no idea what company this is. I've never looked at this chart ever. Pretty interesting gap down. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4 days of selling. Look for resistance around, and it'll probably be quick, but look for some kind of resistance around 84.30. And then I think we get some kind of drop further. Doesn't look like it has huge range. Probably volume. I don't know if the volume is going to be there for day trade, but it does look a little bit more to the bearish side. I'll just be looking for some kind of quick pop. And then again, targets on this one. I'm not sure how big of a news deal that is. But the next spot down I got is 83.22, so not much range. And then maybe extended target for today, 82.41. Unless the floodgates are wide open on this one, then like a really stretched target would be 79.64. But I don't know if we're gonna get down there today. That's where that gap fill comes in as well. So but I think I'd rather be more bearish than bullish on it, but I just don't know how that one trades. All right, let's take a look at Baba. Mm, let's see what their AI says. Baba declined 1.6 after the announcement of China's monthly inflation rate, which was lower than anticipated. Yeah, I think now they're saying they're concerned about deflation. Every every China stock is going to kind of trade probably the same ish. I think longer term, Baba's one of the better ones, and I think there's a certain point where we do kind of flip and turn, but this looks pretty bearish at open. It's a retest gap. I don't know how much, again, this one's going to retest. First spot I'd be looking for is about 81.03, and then the next one is like 81.06, so that's going to be pretty tight range in there. And if we do a full-on retest, we're probably coming up to this VPOC. So the spot I would look for a short, maybe around 81.16. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some kind of a high wave candle out of the gate indecision. I wouldn't want to see it drop right out of the gate because that's going to deter my setups. But looks today bearish with decent range. So down to this $80 mark, 79.99, something like that. Stretch target would be about 79.72. So if you could make a setup work in that, which I think we might be able to, because I think we have a tight range on it. So if we can get a small setup, this one works to the downside. The other one was ADBE. This one we got a little bit of a gap up right into resistance. So this is a gap and go. So I wouldn't mind it bullish. I just don't know how much further this one's got in the bull tank. Probably looking at 573.17 and then stretch target. I think a big one would be 575.13. If we start making above it, yeah, I think we got some resistance, 578.73 for today. But I do think if we get up there, we start to hold those levels. We probably break out and we're making another new higher high as opposed to this double top. But at open for today, I don't think I have much edge in a. I'd rather be bullish because of the gap and go. But with that resistance right there, I think I'd be deterred a little bit. Lucia says the Apple event is 1 p.m. All right, so we'll see what we'll see how many more cameras they add to the iPhone on this one. Is that a hammer? Which stock was that, Georgia? Was that on Baba? That was a few back. Yeah, no, I just saw the message now. Tesla. If you can remember which one it was, let me know. We'll re-pull it up. We got Tesla. So they even in real time, I was like, I don't know. I didn't see them being down. This is a good looking chart, good breakout 2 days ago. Obviously, rampage. Obviously, the market was pulling back like crazy on Friday, but I thought this one would have held a little bit better, and we just started cutting through pretty much every single support possible. We would hang out there for a little bit and then just flush right through it. So I don't know if that's attributed to the overall market weakness. This is a stock that's been up the last couple days. It looked strong the last couple days, and then it just completely died. It did close at 210, which is right at another level. After hours, it dipped a little bit further, I think, into the 209 range. So we're still above this 200, but that was a weak close on it. At open today, my question is did this one just get absolutely oversold? I think it might have. But at open today, we're above all moving averages that I have on my chart, starting with the 20. We're also back above Friday's VPOC. So I do want to see how this 215 wants to hold. I think right around, it was like 214.60, somewhere around there, 214.90. We'll even call it, yeah, it's like 214.90 is the spot I was looking to hold on Friday. The spot I was actually looking to hold was somewhere up at 221, 222. And that one just broke. For today, though, opportunity, I think, is if we get some kind of initial pullback. Maybe we did that already. Let's see, 215-ish. We want to see if that holds pre-market, where we get any type of a bounce. So right around that 215 here. So we retested. If out of the gate we open up, there's not a lot of volume in there. But if we come back down to the 215, I think we get really good risk reward. I'm not sure where I want to throw my stops. I think probably 214, maybe even slightly a couple pennies lower. But I think if we could get any type of bullish momentum and just people like, no, we probably oversold. Next target up is I think 218, which I think could be broken. I think 219, I think that could be broken, and then that takes us probably into this 221 zone. So that would give us about $6 to the higher side. So I'm gonna watch Tesla today. We'll see if we can take a trade bullish on this one, if possible. And then let me know if there's any other tickers that we got a light list today. Light lists. Let's take a look at Nvidia. I think that was also gapping up about $1. About $1. About $1 into some big resistance from back here. Again, not a great close. You did kind of come in and do I actually have calls on Nvidia? Yeah, I might. I gotta log back into the broker. I think I took out some September 20th calls right around where we're opening. Let me see if I still have those. I can't remember. Mm-mm. But it is technically a gap and go. Do I still have Nvidia? Yeah, I still got Nvidia. I got the 105 calls. Okay. All right, not too far off. I'm going to need a break somewhere. I have to start getting above this 104.50 zone. And then I think the next immediate target takes us to this 107.26 and then back to like this 108 potentially. And then we'll see. I mean, obviously CPI and PPI this week. We'll see if we can get some kind of follow through, but this little bounce this morning could still very well be just dead cat bounce after a lot of selling. I don't know if there's much good news to kind of to go with it. Let's check out AMD. AMD, same thing. If you wanted to buy some AMD, so if you're like, hey, let's take away all of this starting from August 22nd. If we're sitting there on August 21st and we're like, okay, do I really want to buy AMD today? We've just broke out. We've had a good run. We're up pretty massive. Where would I actually like to buy it? I think my answer would have been somewhere around this 134, 135 zone. And the market did give it to us pretty quickly. I don't love the way we got there, but this is technically your retest spot on AMD. Support on this one, and we do have a little gap and go today. Obviously, still inside day, which is probably going to be a lot of stocks besides like the Palantir and even the CH, whatever it was, CHR, I think. But this is where I would think that there's probably some bulls interested to buy, regardless of how the chart looks, just because I think you could get a good, pretty decent risk reward type play on it. So bouncing here, kind of closing right in this volume range. And now we are opening above it. I like it bullish only for the fact that that's where my retest would have been, and I think I can get a decent risk reward on it. For a day trade, maybe this thing has to sell off again, pull back into. I mean, maybe we could hit yesterday's or Friday's VPOC 133.50. Otherwise, 134.77. If you play options, and again, this is not a recommendation, not financial advice, none of that good stuff. We have we have a lot of room to the downside on this one, which would take us to like 119. So if we could get the bounce kind of right where that retest was after we just kind of pivoted, we came back, we retested. If this market wants to turn bullish and if the rest of the week CPI, PPI wants to turn bullish, if you're taking some options and you're taking it with some time on it, I don't think you're going to be hurt that much, but you very well could possibly lose on those options. But this is not a bad spot to try. Put some time on those contracts. And then if this turns out to be just a retest and we just kind of zoom out, great. If you start really breaking down, I would even say most of, I mean, I'd probably say if we're breaking Friday's VPOC in that 132 range, we start closing above 132. You probably exit. You could probably flip that position because there is a decent amount of room to the downside if this market just kind of falls apart. So, a very interesting area for AMD. For a day trade basis, I think I'd want to see some kind of pullback first. Which I don't think I'd want to see it all the way to yesterday's VPOC. I'd probably just stay away. But if we start bouncing off 134.88, 135, that might be a decent spot to look to go long if you want to try for day trade. Otherwise, the inside day is a little bit of a killer, unless we have some kind of thought process that we're able to break out. CMG. Mm-mm. Cash for houses. What's up, Hector? How you been, man? All right, we got CMG. Still inside day. This one probably fades at open, I would assume. If I'm leaning bullish, I'd want to see 53.94 holds. The other thing on this one is where does that 618 come in for the bear side? Bear and or bull side, I guess. But we closed right into the 38% retracement. So here's my I don't know what to do on this one. I don't know what to do on this one. So we have again, I it doesn't look crazy bullish, but this is an interesting retest spot. So if you miss that breakout, you might be interested in kind of buying it somewhere on that pullback, and then you're looking for that. If you are, just be aware of 58, I mean 54.81 and then 55.32. Probably we could get into that range somewhere. Then we just stumble around, and then either we do this or that was just kind of the retracement of this sell-off. That's a big candle. So I don't know. I think we're in a little bit of a chop zone. I would kind of look at the longer term picture and just be like, do I like this company? Is this where we should bounce? Do I have any volume? That's kind of crazy. I got a lot of volume down here. So there is a lot of support. We're still above most of it, all of it, pretty much. So if we can get that breakout bullish, and again, this is where that risk reward is going to come in. You might have a play up to like 57.85. I don't think that's a day trade. It's probably more of a swing, and maybe even higher, maybe into like the 58 range. So you have a lot of room up there. This is not a horrible spot, but then again, even at open, I'd be looking for a little bit of sell-off. You got the 20 on the daily right above us, so that could keep us down. We're hovering around that 200. Even Friday's candle did close below that 200. We tried to get past it again. So a little bit of a chop zone, but it does have some room higher. We do have some good support right around the zone as well. Risk to reward, I'd probably want to kind of lean bullish just to see if we get that break. And then targets again, probably up to this $58 mark. Maybe slightly under if you want to take it. We got Netflix, NFLX. Another, yeah, looks like the rest of the market. Well, like, yeah, gap up. And by the end of today, everything's just blood red again. You're like, no. Uh, keep in mind too what happened on Friday. It was a tricky day. We had the jobless numbers came out. We did this pre-market run up. So we ran pre-market. We were looking actually kind of bullish. None of the supports held, and then we just kind of dropped. We are up pre-market again. Not on really any real news, I guess. Just kind of after hours, kind of just kept on running. Or after hours, actually, Friday kept on selling, and then this pre-market kept on pushing up higher with futures. Netflix is kind of in no man's land. I would think somewhere right around here is a decent spot to look short if you're going short. Looks like we had pretty bearish engulfing candle, a couple days of rest. There was a breakdown. I think this retest ends up probably selling longer term, but I'd start looking maybe around 676.05 for that short, give it some extra time, as opposed to going short right out of the gate. And then you're also shorting something that is pretty bullish. We just hit all-time highs on this. Not all, I don't think it was all-time highs. We're very close to it though. But you have this looming double top. We did get a little bit higher price-wise. Closing kind of got right into that zone. So you're gonna try short. You're trying something on strong. It's very strong, but you have that good double top to kind of play off as well. And then targets to the downside, I think we get to like 649.43. Unless this is like a real double top and we just crush through lower. Then you're probably looking for like 596. And then it gets worse from there. ARM. But yeah, I think that one's a little probably struggle bus just being at all-time highs. ARM looks interesting. Again, we kind of came down to the spot where if you ask me when we were up in this zone, besides the Bulls that took a breakout play, they got trapped up here. The better spot with patience Somewhere down in this range, we hit all those. We are doing a little gap and goes or news on ARM. After report Apple to use ARM's chip in the new iPhone. They might actually get some mentions today in the meeting too. You got resistance on this one, which is going to be a little issue, but 123.30. The next one up is about 123.90. So if we could break 124, we got a lot of room on this thing up to 129. It is a gap and go. It's not inside day. Could be one of my favorites. Could be one of my favorites. Got to get up there on that list. We did not do Dell yet. Nah, we've had a slow list coming today. Uh, are they gonna get some Apple mentions too? I don't know. I don't know. This is a gap and go. We are still technically inside day on this one. And then you have resistance on this right about 107.67. We get past that, we got to face the 200 EMA. If we could start breaking it, you got another resistance at 109.37, and then major resistance somewhere back around this 111 zone. So it is a gap and go. You might be trapping some bears on this one, but you have a heavy bunch of resistance right above you. But it looks interesting. We'll see what happens. If we start getting above that 200, maybe there's a play. Terrified of all that resistance. But it is a decent gap and go. Boeing. Yeah, they had some kind of news too, I think it was. I forget what it was. I was reading it over the weekend. I can't remember now. Something to do with their helicopters. It's gap and go. At least the 200's all the way up there. Dell's like right at it. Otherwise, you do have some decent resistance. I'd say we have to break this 164.05. If we could break 164.05, spot up, takes us to about 167.39. And then long term, we do have this gap up here, 171. So not a bad look, but we got some resistance to go through. And so far, everything Boeing touches just sells off. So we'll see if that news wants to carry. Otherwise, everybody out there in YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe buttons. Unfortunately, the bell means that I have to disconnect, but we will be back.